Hello everyone, you are watching the channel Incredible Facts. Imagine a plane that can carry out any combat mission anywhere in the world and still not be detected by enemy radar. That will be more than just an airplane. The U.S. Air Force's new strategic bomber, the B-21 Raider, but will cost north of $550 million. It will be an aviation technological quantum leap to be one of the mighty pillars of national security for the United States for many decades to come. What kind of innovative technologies keep the B-21 Raider so stealthy? What kind of the most advanced weapons does it have on board? Watch the video till the end to find out more about this revolutionary plane and the future of the U.S. Air Forces. But the B-21 is not alone. Today, we'll also take a look at its equally legendary predecessors. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more just like it, remember to give us a like and subscribe to our channel to get more sent straight to your notifications. It finally happened on December 2nd, 2022 in the United States. The date for another milestone in American military aviation. The world was revealed to a new creation, a sixth-generation stealth strategic bomber, the B-21 Raider, produced by Northrop Grumman and now the acme of U.S. science and engineering thinking. To state that it's going to become a nightmare for America's enemies would be an understatement. Until recently, there was almost no concrete information about the B-21. All works on the development, assembling, and testing of the first prototype were carried out under tight secrecy. Thus, extremely limited information about this plane was available to the interested audience, which simply referred to it as some kind of advanced tool for the U.S. Air Force, which could reach any enemy across the globe in just a few hours and unleash hellfire with the most advanced precision weapons. Northrop Grumman CEO Katie Warden describes the invention as the world's first true sixth-generation stealth aircraft that exceeds customer requirements. She also emphasized that the new bomber will be much cheaper to operate compared to previous models. On Friday at the U.S. Air Force Base 42, this monster, whose appearance until that day was only available in the form of concepts from the internet and illustrations by various experts, was solemnly presented to the public at the official unveiling ceremony. This ceremony took place in the same place where the presentation of the Raider's older brother, the B-2 Spirit, was held 34 years ago, which the new aircraft is intended to complement and subsequently replace. A press release on the U.S. Air Force's website states that the B-21 is a stealth bomber designed as a long-range, high-survivability aircraft designed to respond to aggression anywhere in the world and capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear munitions. Its mission is to protect the national security of the United States and its allies around the world. This aircraft is the first new bomber introduced since the end of the Cold War. It is planned to build at least 100 B-21s, although there is information about the possible production of at least 149 units. Each of these aircraft will cost an average of about $700 million, with a total program cost of at least $200 billion in 2019 prices. Journalists from The Drive, invited to the event in the South, were among the few public figures who had the opportunity to observe the B-21 at almost arm's length. The journalists noted that the B-21 takes stealth to a whole new level, incorporating the company's best practices in projects such as the B-2 Spirit, X-47B, and the legendary YF-23 Black Widow II. The first aircraft presented is one of 6 currently in production. Although each is formally considered a prototype, they're all built on the same production line, using the same tools, processes, and technologies that will be used to create production aircraft in the future. Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin said that the B-21 will be able to threaten any target on the planet at any time, and at the same time will not be tied to being based in any particular theater of operations. He emphasized the new aircraft's important features: its long range, unpretentiousness in logistic support, ability to remain invisible to existing air defense systems, and the ability to use both existing and future long-range weapons. The completion of the B-21 program will provide the U.S. Air Force with a significant number of these aircraft, which will ensure the effective fulfillment of its mission of protection and deterrence on a global scale. The presentation of the B-21 Raider is an event that brings joy to America's friends and, at the same time, makes enemies think about their actions. However, it is worth mentioning other representatives of bomber aviation and carriers of American democracy. Let's start with the equally legendary B-2 Spirit. This is a multi-role strategic bomber capable of delivering both conventional and nuclear munitions to its enemies. This aircraft symbolized a significant technological breakthrough and has remained an important step in the modernization of the U.S. bomber fleet. Its capabilities allow for powerful fire strikes anywhere in the world, breaking through even the most advanced air defense systems. In other words, it is almost just an older predecessor of the B-21 Raider. The combination of a larger payload, stealth, and high aerodynamic efficiency has given the B-2 an edge over other bombers. Attaining stealth technology lets it fly at higher altitudes, increasing the range as well as enhancing the field of view for its onboard sensors. The B-2's low observability is based upon its reduced infrared and acoustic signatures, which also incorporate a minimized electromagnetic, visual, and radar cross-sections. This makes it very hard to detect or defeat with modern defense systems. Although much of its details remain classified, composite materials usage, special coatings, and flying wing design all contribute towards achieving this. The first public appearance of the B-2 was on November 22, 1988 at Air Force Base 42, California. Already mentioned before, while its maiden flight was done on July 17, 1989. Joint B-2 Test Force and Air Force Flight Test Center, Edwards Air Force Base, California, carried out the flight tests. It is only deployed in Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. The Spirit of Missouri was the first airplane delivered here on December 17, 1993. During Operation Inherent Resolve, it showed off the combat effectiveness by destroying 33% of Serbian targets in the first 8 weeks while flying non-stop to and from Kosovo. The B-2 flew one of the longest flights to date from Whiteman to Afghanistan and back for Operation Enduring Freedom. In Operation Iraqi Freedom, the B-2 flew 22 sorties from the forward operating post and 27 sorties from Whiteman, for a total of more than 1.5 million pounds of munitions. In 2011, the B-2 Spirit was again deployed in support of NATO's military operation Unfired Protector in Libya, aimed at protecting civilians during the Civil War and enforcing UN resolutions. Spirit provided precision attacks against Libyan air defense systems, command centers, and other critical infrastructure. Its ability to deliver precision munitions with stealth helped much in creating a no-fly zone and protecting civilians. Thus, the B-2 has fully justified its usefulness, the effort, and money that was invested in it. But now, let's go back a little bit earlier to the origins of the modern U.S. bomber fleet, to the Boeing B-52 Strat Fortress. This is an American-made, multi-purpose airplane designed for intercontinental long-range flights. The B-52 has been in service with the United States since 1955, at the time replacing the B-47 and B-36. This aircraft can carry different types of weapons to an altitude of up to 49,000 feet or 15,000 meters with subsonic speed. The task for which the B-52 was designed and really meant to carry out was to attack any vital target deep inside the Soviet Union, carrying thermonuclear bombs. It is often called the stratospheric fortress because it established many world records for the range it was able to cover. The B-52 bomber has flown across the Americas, taking weapons across the Americas, over the pole, and to display the range of 16,800 miles or 27,000 kilometers. In 1957, the B-52 circled the world. Since then, it has almost reached the milestone of 24,850 miles or 40,000 kilometers in a 45-hour flight. An example of its modifications still covers the record of the longest range of strategic combat aircraft in history and remains in the U.S. Armed Forces arsenal for over half a decade. The vehicle is equipped with modern avionics, surveillance systems, and other weapons. Constant work to improve the modifications of the aircraft is carried out in consonance with new technologies and needs. The history of the B-52 begins in 1946 when the U.S. government issued a task order for designing a new bomber. It was supposed to fly at a speed of not less than 300 miles per hour or 480 kilometers per hour over a distance of up to 5,000 miles or 8,050 kilometers, with 10,000 pounds or 4.5 tons of bombs on board. All of the financial assistance was received by Boeing Planning. In 1948, the aircraft design was prepared, and in 1951, the first prototype was assembled. The first B-52 of the pre-production series was delivered to the Air Force in 1954 after a successful check made in 1952. About 500 aircraft of various modifications were built overall. The B-52s began operating during the Cold War, when they flew round-the-clock missions at U.S. airfields with nuclear weapons on board. In the 1960s, it was decided to disperse the B-52s to 36 airfields. By the 1980s, about 40 aircraft were on constant duty. In 1991, all bombers were removed from combat duty. In 1993, the United States and USSR signed an agreement on the utilization of combat aircraft of this series, which led to the write-off of more than 350 B-52s. Prior to that, the aircraft has performed complex combat missions, destroying a large number of targets. For example, the B-52 participated in the Vietnam War, flying 729 combat missions in 2 weeks and dropping 15,237 tons of bombs. During the Gulf War, more than 70 B-52s flew 1,624 sorties. The aircraft also took part in Operations Desert Strike, Desert Fox, Allied Force, the Afghan War, the Iraq War, and the Syrian conflict. Today, the B-52 is operated by the U.S. Air Force, including Barksdale and Minot air bases, as well as the Air Force Reserve Command. The sale of these weapons is prohibited, as the B-52 is a unique aircraft that surpasses all foreign counterparts in terms of technical and flight characteristics. The modernization and re-equipment of the B-52 continues to this day, with more than $12 billion annually allocated to the U.S. budget for this purpose. The Air Force plans to operate B-52s until 2030, and experts estimate that their service life can be exhausted only by 2040. What are your thoughts on the B-21 Raider and other legendary U.S. bombers? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel to get our latest videos straight to your notifications.